everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you are here. It's been a little while. Thank you guys for all the kind words about my mom passing. I really appreciate it. If you don't know me, my name is Stacey and I'm an infidelity coach helping people heal from having an affair and moving on with their life. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to talk about why it's hard for the unfaithful to reconnect with their spouse after an affair. Okay, so I get questions about this from my clients a lot. I'm having a hard time reconnecting with my spouse. I don't know what's wrong. And I've even heard, betrayed spouses ask, why is my spouse not connecting with me? What's the block? What's going on with us? So I want to give you 3 reasons I believe that it is hard for us after the affair ends to reconnect with our spouse. Now this is, my personal experience along with, working with clients throughout the years, learning what's going on with them. Of course, this list is, it can be vast. So I just picked the top 3 that I feel are what really causes the roadblocks, what really causes couples to get stuck and causes problems for the unfaithful, and they get frustrated and then the betrayed spouse gets frustrated. So let's get into it. Okay, so number 1 is anger and resentment. Now, it's very important to understand that an affair did not happen overnight, meaning your spouse, or if you've had an affair, you have been disconnecting from your husband or wife for a while. Like, you checked out emotionally. I know I did. I checked out emotionally long before my affair partner ever came on the scene. And the reason I had checked out is because there was anger there. I was angry with my husband. I had built up a lot of resentment towards him. We were not getting along. We were arguing about our kids, and we were a blended family. So my son at the time was still living at home, and we just could not agree on how to raise him and just different things like that. So we were having a lot of conflict, but it was unresolved conflict. And over time, unresolved conflict will build up resentment and anger and bitterness, especially if the couple does not know how to communicate effectively. And for me, I was not a very good communicator. I did not stand up for myself. I didn't give myself a voice. And that really hurt the marriage, not just me, but it hurt the marriage because I didn't give my husband enough of a chance to try to fix and, rectify the situation. So it's important to understand that when you're vulnerable, when someone is vulnerable to an affair, it is because they've been angry, they've built up resentment for a long time now. So you don't just wake up one day and say, I think I'm going to have an affair. It doesn't work like that. Over time, we start to disconnect from our spouse. A lot of reasons is because we don't get our needs met, and we're getting empty, and we have anger and we have bitterness. Now, I want to put this in here. That's not an excuse for us to have an affair. Of course, we have a situation, whatever it is going on in the marriage that we're not happy with, but it's our choice on how we choose to respond to that situation. And I could get into, childhood wounds and attachment styles, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I just want you to understand that if you're an unfaithful spouse and you're finding it hard to reconnect with your spouse, then search your heart and see what the anger is or what the resentment is. What is your self-talk towards them? Go back, before you had the affair, and see if you can remember any, saying, oh my God, I'm so angry with my husband, or, just any kind of negative self-talk towards them. Try to find out where the anger and the bitterness came from. If you are a betrayed spouse and you're wondering about, your spouse who had an affair, understand that there was trouble in the marriage, even if you wasn't aware of it. There was trouble going on with your spouse, with the unfaithful. There's problems going on in their emotions, And that has to be addressed so there can be some reconnection. Like the unresolved issues and problems that was there before need to be resolved so reconnection can start, you can start building that again. Okay, number 2, we lose trust in our spouse's words. Okay, so this is gonna sound crazy. I understand that, because it's like, okay, well, you had the affair, but you don't trust your spouse who didn't have the affair. Like, I don't understand that. But let me explain. This kind of, piggybacks off of the trust and the resentment. It's kind of like an example of what could cause the resentment and anger. If you have a spouse who says, okay, I'm going to spend time with you, or okay, I'm going to fix this, or I promise I'm going to help with the kids, or I'm going to, take the garbage out, I'm going to do homework, I'm going to, whatever it is, and you're constantly telling your spouse that you're going to do something, but you never do it, over time, that person loses trust and loses faith in you. If you say, hey, we're going to go on a date, or hey, we're going to take an hour, we're going to spend time, we're going to talk to each other, and I want to focus on you, but you cancel those plans, or you break that agreement all the time, then over time, your spouse is not going to believe what you're saying. Your words and actions together is what build trust. So when you have an affair and then the unfaithful spouse is like, okay, I want to reconcile, both parties are like, let's reconcile, let's fix this marriage. But then your unfaithful spouse is having trouble connecting, and they might say, I'm having trouble, trusting you, or feeling, like you're really going to change, or we're really going to work on this together, and that type of thing. Then that's why. It's because over time they've lost faith in you, just like you have lost faith in them. And I understand, I will probably get heat for saying this. I understand it doesn't necessarily make sense, but when you're talking about recovery, where the marriage is concerned, this has to be addressed. It cannot be all the focus on the unfaithful person and now it's all your fault, because it's not all their fault. Like, there were problems that have to be addressed. It's the unfaithful's fault that they had an affair, that they chose to go in that direction, but a marriage breakdown is not all one person's fault. So it's important for the couple, for both sides, to mean what they say and back up what they say with action, and do that on a consistent basis. That helps your spouse to feel safe, to trust you. Okay, so the next one. This is a big one. This one is, we do not feel emotionally safe. Okay. You have 4 areas, or 4 cups of intimacy is what I like to call them. Your first one is emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy is your foundation for a strong connection. If you're wondering why your spouse is so connected to the affair partner, this is why. It's the emotional connection that they have with them. To get an emotional connection, you have to create a safe environment. So if your spouse, the unfaithful spouse, feels judged by you or by their spouse, it's not going to create a place to have that connection, to make that emotional connection. If you judge them for how they say they're sorry, if you think that they're, they don't cry enough, or they're, too happy, that means they're not sorry. They're not going to connect with you, because now you're against them instead of being their partner. If you keep telling them how wrong they were and keep reminding them of what they did, they'll never open up and share their heart with you. And when you want to emotionally connect with your spouse and build that intimacy, there has to be a safe space to be able to open up and not feel judged by the person that they're opening up to. So the next part is, if you make snarky comments, like passive aggressive comments, like, well, you shouldn't have did that, or, well, you had an affair, that kind of stuff, that's going to cause them to put up a wall. It's going to cause us to say, well, you're still holding on to unforgiveness, so I cannot trust you to be myself. I cannot trust you to safely love me and give you my heart. The next one is pressure to feel a certain way. If your spouse had an affair and you're pressuring them to feel something for you or not feel something for the affair partner right away during recovery, that's just not going to happen. And what it's going to do is it's going to cause that person to shut down and become numb. If you had an affair and you were feeling pressured, even maybe by yourself, to all of a sudden now feel something for your spouse that you don't, and stop feeling something from your affair partner, you're going to get numb. You're going to shut down, because while you are in grief, you have to have time to heal. Your heart needs to heal. There's a time frame during grief where we learn how to rejoin society, where we learn how to start enjoying things in our life again, where we want to start feeling love and not sadness. We get to that place. It just takes time, and we have to have patience with each other and not put pressure. This will keep that person from reconnecting to you. The last one is unrealistic expectations. And, it kind of piggybacks off of what I just said. So, if you have a lot of expectations, if you expect your spouse to feel some way, if you expect to feel some way, if you expect your betrayed spouse to be a certain way, or you're constantly comparing them, you'll never be able to connect with them. And that's another one. I don't have it down, but now that I just said it, it's big too. If you are constantly comparing your spouse to the affair partner, or if the betrayed spouse is constantly comparing themselves to the affair partner, you're not going to be able to reconnect with each other. The best way to reconnect is focus on each other and focus on the marriage, and give the affair its space. Like, give it time. I understand that you need time to talk about it and work through those issues, but don't let it consume you. Focus on creating an emotionally safe environment for both parties to be able to express themselves freely without fear of judgment, but with acceptance. Because honestly, the affair partner, that place that they create for each other, is judgment free. It's complete acceptance. It's completely, I hear you, I understand you, I see you. What do you need from me? What do I need from you? It's all about acceptance, and it's a safe space, and that's why it's so easy for us to connect. So, again, couples, reconnect with each other, but create that safe environment. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, there's a link in the description box that will take you to my calendar. Also, I feel like I need to say I do work with women and men. So if you're a man, don't shy away. I would be happy to help you get through your affair. And I will see you guys in the next video, and it's great to be back. Bye.